information with you. I've been a real estate investor for a number of years, almost 15 years now. I've done over 400 real estate transactions and love sharing with people the systems of how this works. So welcome from Moreno Valley, welcome from Lake Elsinore, welcome from Oceanside, from Murrieta. We got people from all over logging on. Welcome, everybody. So great to have you. I apologize if you see me glancing over here today. That's because I'm not using a webcam per se. I've got a physical camera in front of me and my computer's on this side. So you guys get to see the side of my head today. So welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. All right, welcome from Honolulu. Great to have you guys. Good morning from San Diego. Welcome, Redmond, Washington. Fantastic. Good morning, good morning. Welcome, everybody. Great to have you with us today. We're going to get started in 1 minute. In 1 minute, we're going to jump in. We're going to show you, I've got a little preview video of the property we're going to see, and then we're going to jump right into it. So welcome. If you're just joining us and you haven't yet, let me know where you are calling in from or where you are viewing from today. Go ahead and go over to the chat. Hit me up. Let me know where you guys are joining from today. Welcome from Washington. Welcome from Indianapolis. Great to have you guys. Great to have you here today. All right. San Diego, Winchester, everybody coming on board. All right, guys. Well, here we go. Let me go ahead and pull the music down. Go ahead and pull the music down and let's get started. Folks, like I said, my name is Kendall Stock. I'm excited to have you here today. I've been a real estate investor for 15 years. I've done over 400 properties, mostly fix and flips. And really, I'm passionate about sharing with people what it is we do. I want to be very intentional on our purpose today. If you're just looking at getting involved in real estate investing, I'm here. I'm hoping today, my method, my objective is to help you see that this is where you deserve to be. Real estate investing is where it's at. There's going to be so many opportunities coming forth in the future. There's great opportunities now. We're going to share some of those today. I've got Darren Davis and Joanna on site at the property that we're going to view today. But my intention today is to show you guys why you need to get started with us and help you to move forward in that decision so you can come in and make some of this profit as well. So before we get started, or before we get going too much today, I'm going to cut over here and we are going to watch a quick intro video of the property that we are going to see today. So just so you guys are aware, this was recorded 2 weeks ago, and then we're going to check the progress. So hang tight, let's view this, and then we'll get started. Here we go. Okay, so that's where the property began. I'm going to kind of take you guys step by step of where we're at now. As you saw, it was just totally, absolutely filthy. We've gone in and done quite a bit of clean out. We've gone in and done quite a bit of renovation. We're going to do a quick time-lapse video here and then bring you guys up to speed to where we are at today. So here we go. This was last week.
Come off mute, Kendall.
Oh, there you go. You can't hear me. I was muted. Sorry about that. So as you can see, we've got a lot of things already occurring inside the property. I heard Darren in the background. Darren, I'm going to invite you to come on to camera now. I know that you are there live. You're with Joanna. And guys, man, this is going to be an amazing property tour today. Good morning, guys. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. So today what we're going to talk about, just so everyone's aware, we're going to talk about four main things. How did we find the deal? How did we fund it? What are we doing? Our exit strategy here is fix and flip. So we're going to talk about the things that are done. But before we get into the numbers, Darren and Joanna, I want you guys to take us on a virtual tour. Let us go see what's going on inside and around the house. One of the things that we saw in the first clip, and it was a very zoomed in approach, but was all the landscaping. I know that last Saturday we had the landscapers there, and they were taking down a 60-foot pine tree.
There's the leftovers.
You know what? I think we'll show that to you right. Well, we'll show you what's left of the pine tree. Here,
Yeah, give us a little tour. Walk us around. Show us what's going on inside the house, Darren.
All right. Well, here we are. This is where the previous tour started. Right here in front of the house. We still have some trees that need to be taken care of. But here's the front of the house. In fact, our glass guy just showed up.
Fantastic. Say hello to Jorge for me.
Yeah, I just call him Georgie.
Georgie.
But here's our beautiful palm tree. This thing is amazing. I mean, it is so amazing. Here's what's left of the pine tree, though. It was a sad day, but the pine tree had to go. Someone irresponsibly planted it 6 feet from the house. So that stuff happens. Here, I'll take you in.
That hasn't created any foundation problems or anything like that. The root systems seem to have behaved themselves, unlike other houses we've done in the past.
Yeah, don't bring that up. What are you doing? I'm kidding. But yeah, our walkway, this would actually get damaged first if it was damaging anything. And so our porch, our walkway is all good. There's a lot of noise in the house. Let's go do the backyard first. Would that be okay with everybody?
Yeah, you bet. Because that is noise. We're picking it all up on camera.
Yeah, no.
Work in process.
Right. This is an active job site, just so you guys know. This isn't TV.
That's right.
But here, let me show you the backyard. Some of you have seen the backyard before, but it looks, oh my gosh, 1,000% better. Is that for real? Can I say that?
You know, when I first saw this backyard, there was literally stuff stacked. I mean, it was just stacked. There was trash everywhere where there was so much overgrowth, so much debris. It was awful. That whole awning was just full of stuff underneath it. There's still some stuff there that needs to go to the trash. Yeah,
the scrapper is coming there. We have a scrap guy that's coming to pick all this stuff up. But the what do you call, the spa that was back here is all gone. The 6-foot weeds are gone. Some of the trees and bushes that were here are gone. In fact, I didn't know this house had 4 citrus trees, 4 fruit trees. And it does. But I didn't know that before because there was too much stuff in the way before.
Man, I tell you, we couldn't see anything before.
So true. So true. All the windows were boarded up. We still have some broken windows, so some of the boards are still up.
But that's the cool thing. Georgie's there today. Is he installing the glass today?
Yes, he is.
Now that's an interesting thing because normally you've got a couple of options, and a lot of times, you know, as you look at the repairs, a lot of people just go ahead and replace the windows. Now, in this property, we opted not to replace windows. Why is that, Darren?
Well, if you can replace just the glass in the windows, then that's a lot cheaper. It takes a little bit of time to get it ordered, but we had a little bit of time. In fact, none of our comps were showing that those houses had new windows. And so we opted not to put in new windows.
And that's really what it comes down to, right? Is what the comps are showing.
Yes, that's what it all comes down to.
It's not that we just made a decision to not put anything in there. It's that the comps don't demand it. If the comps don't demand it, then let's go ahead and get this thing done. Well, let's go ahead and take a peek on the inside. Let's go see the massive changes. Because as we showed in the videos, when we first bought the house, it was just full of junk. And then the view was obstructed. Everything was obstructed. It was a very closed off, very closed floor plan. And the first thing you guys are going to see as you walk inside
is the electrician.
But you see that our electrician is standing where there used to be a wall. I showed you guys that quick time lapse. Give us the tour of the interior, Darren.
All right. So as that time lapse came in, it actually came in right through here, right towards the fireplace, and it showed the dining room, and then it came around the wall here into the kitchen. But there is no more wall. It's a big island right now. How many of you would rather have an island in your kitchen than a huge wall?
Yeah, I mean, that wall went all the way to the ceiling. If you pan up, Darren, you can actually see the holes in the ceiling where it was.
Yep.
And, you know, it wasn't that we just willy-nilly decided to take those down. We hired a contractor. We hired a general contractor to make sure that it was not load bearing, that it was not support bearing at all. And he said, no, you got green light. Go ahead and remove that. So
here's our kitchen.
Talk to us about what we're going to do. Because when we first saw this, you know, we were seeing that this thing was so filthy. People were telling me their estimate is that it was going to be anywhere from $60,000 to $80,000 in renovations. But we're going to talk about those numbers in a minute. But walk through and tell me what you're doing. Obviously, I see you've taken down the countertops. You're going to be doing granite countertops or quartz,
Yes.
taking down the backsplash.
Yes, took down the backsplash because the drywaller will be here on Tuesday. He came in and saw the property today, and he's coming in on Tuesday. So he'll be here before the granite guy gets in here. So we took down all the backsplash so he can repair that before all of the new countertops go in.
It's funny. Somebody asked me, they said, why don't you guys demo the countertops? And I said, well, because when we do it, we just break things and make a mess. When our countertop guy does it, he gets it out super clean and it's way more efficient.
Oh, and the cost is negligible to have him do it versus us do it.
Now, what are you showing me here? Because this used to be a wall that went floor to ceiling.
Yeah.
Now the kitchen has expanded. What's going on here?
So the kitchen really needed an island because it is a kind of an odd shape here, real short on one side, long on the other. And so it felt kind of incomplete, felt out of balance. But now that we've got this island here, it's kind of a complete circle now. In here, I'll back up so you can kind of see here what this kitchen will look like. And now we got kind of a complete kitchen area. And you can see and visit and do homework on the island. You can watch TV from there. TV will be over the fireplace. It just gives it a much more open and a much more, I don't know, loving feel. Because this house had lost the loving feeling a long time ago.
Holy cow. So that's amazing. So we're opening up the kitchen, expanding the kitchen. Now, here's the thing. That looks very symmetrical. That looks very professionally done. How did you figure out how to do that, Darren?
Oh, well, I had a math teacher assist me.
Yes, this is a great lesson for my students that when they always ask me how, when am I ever going to use the math that you teach? And I have a proof. I actually had to use trigonometry to figure out the angles and the side lengths to complete that island, to do these angles to make it fit and be, make sense and look good and not just a piece that we've set it there.
Right. Many times you can just set something on the ground and go, oh, hey, that looks good. But when you have more than one proof, it's really helpful. And if you can prove it with math, it's like having a spreadsheet when you do your renovations. If you know what or approximately what things are going to cost, and they actually do cost that, and everything comes together, you've got double proofs. And I like working that way.
Okay, so it's amazing to know that we can actually use trigonometry in the real world. Joanna, I'm glad you were there, because Darren and I, we would have just taken a tape measure and say, yep, that looks good. But, we use our skill sets. Well, speaking of skill sets, let's talk about this a little bit. Darren, why don't I'm going to kind of start a process. I'm going to pull up a whiteboard here for a minute. And, oh, you know what? I don't have the whiteboard plugged in. I got everything ready to go except for that. Hold on.
We're going to go outside so the echo is not as bad.
Okay, so we're going to talk about a couple of things. There's a few things we want to talk about today on this property. We're going to talk about how do you find the deal, how do you fund it, how do you fix it up, and then how do you flip it. Now, again, guys, my intention is to introduce you to our educational service where we learn this. There's a system. There's a system. We're not a boot camp company. We're not a seminar company. We're part of a fantastic educational company that teaches systems for investing in real estate. We've all been there. We've done that. We've seen all the things on TV. We see you go to the 3-day seminar and then they upsell you, and the upselling never begins There's many programs out there where there's an annual subscription fee. With us, it's not. We are a one-time, lifetime access to the education. It is freaking amazing. So we'll get into that. We're going to talk about that on Wednesday. But just so you all know, yes, I told you right up front, my intention is to sell you into what we do, to invite you to take action. This is not free. This is not a government handout. If that's what you're looking for, we're not it. This is take control of your financial future, learn how to start a business, learn how to invest in real estate. There's two main questions that we have to answer before any of this is applicable. There's two main questions that we have to answer. Number one, the first question you need to answer is, can I do it? I call that CD. Can I do it? Number two, is it worth it? Now, I want you guys to hit me up in the chat, okay? Hit me up in the chat and let me know, do you believe you can invest in real estate, and do you believe it's worth your time to learn how to do it? Go ahead, yes or no? Yes or no, over and okay, everybody's saying yes, yes, yes. All the way down, it's yeses. Okay, can I do it? Is it worth it? Now, here's what we're going to discuss today. Discussing if it's worth it, that's marginal. That's debatable for everybody. You guys tell me in the chat, if you're going to take the time to learn how to do this business, how much would you need to make on a fix and flip? Because that's what we're talking about today. It's not the only thing we cover. My goodness, we cover ground to skyscrapers to notes to everything in between, from long-term rental to short-term rental to we cover real estate. How much would you need to make in your world, whether it's over the course of a year or whether it's just on one project? Let's say on one project. How much would you need to make for it to be worth your time? Hit me up in the chat. Let me see. I'm seeing 50 grand, 35 grand. What else? 40,000, 25 to 40,000. All right, so we've got a range. Let's see my range right here. Okay, now you guys are participating. There we go. Keep going. Keep going. I'm seeing 15,000, 20,000, 35, 40 and up, 25 to 40, 50. The point is you've got a baseline that you're like, hey, if I can make this much, it's worth my time. Well, these are the questions that we're here to answer today. Can I do it? Is it worth it? I can't answer that for you. You have to answer that. All I can do is collect your decision. I can't make it for you. But we have a system anywhere. The system is anywhere from, if you pay cash, anywhere from $2,000 to $20,000 to learn how to do this. I happen to participate in the $20,000 package. Darren, Joanna, where did you guys participate?
The 20,000 package, the full.
You also came in at the full package. Now, the cool thing is, this package is available for 2 people and it's lifetime access. I paid one time. Are you kidding me? One time I paid for my education. If I put that on a credit card, I'm looking at anywhere from here, 35 up to 250, 300 bucks a month. That was the decision I was looking at. That's the way I encourage you to look at it. If you're like, well, I can't think of that. I don't have 20 grand. Go out to your driveway and look at your car. How much did you pay for your car? And tell me you don't have 20 grand. We can finance everything. So it's a function of, can I do it? Is it worth it? Get rid of the nonsense in our head that tells us we can't do it. Now let's talk about this house, because I want to show you, we start off, we want to prove to you, we don't just talk about this. In fact, this is one of 2 deals that the 3 of us are working on right now. We're not even going to mention, well, we might mention it, but we're not going to go into detail of the next house we're working on. But let's talk about this deal. First and foremost, as we talk about these things, find, fund, fix, and flip. Tell me, how was this deal found, guys? How did you find this deal?
Well, my son and I, we followed the education, the system and education that we've learned. We've been using, my younger son, he's participating by helping us write letters. We've been very consistent following the system. We got calls, we've got calls, and we've got calls, and we've created some relationships with some agents that were calling. And this is how this property came through. That was from a call from the agent. She says, are you still, interested? I have a property. I said, yeah, we are. And the other property that hopefully you'll see a tour in the near future, a brother-in-law saw Ozzy's letter actually ripped in half, and it sparked an interest because it was handwritten by Ozzy, and he picked it up and called Ozzy, and that's how we get in the other house.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, here it is. This is a method. People are like, handwritten letters. People have been doing that for ages, for decades in this business. Yep, and it still works.
There's a reason why.
This is not how we find all of our deals. In fact,
no.
I don't find deals this way. This is not the way I find deals. But guess what? In real estate, everything works, nothing doesn't. I'm going to encourage you to be smart enough to listen and dumb enough to follow through. Just do what people tell you. The instructors that teach this information, they don't just talk about it, they do it. So this one was based on a relationship. A real estate agent called you up and said, hey, here's a really nasty property. Nobody wants it. In fact, it's interesting because this house was actually listed for $250,000 on the MLS.
Yes.
An investor came and put it into escrow for $210,000 with a $20,000 non-refundable earnest money deposit. They walked through the property and they're like, no way, I'm not doing that.
They left.
They walked away from $20,000 simply because the house was disgusting and it was dirty.
Yes.
Now,
So when we got that house, when she called us, main thing was I looked at the numbers and I'm like, this is too good to be true. So first thing I did, I'm like calling Kendall, calling Darren. I'm like, help me, check with me because, and they looked at it and said, yeah, do I put an offer in? I'm like, what do I do? And Darren says, oh, put 7-day inspection, 14-day close. I'm like, 14-day close?
Yeah, that was a little bit different, right?
We did it.
But you know what?
It worked.
There's a system, and we're going to talk about this because now we know it. So now this is how we found this particular deal. Let's talk about how to fund it. Joanna says, hey, you know what? We're going to put an offer in. Well, in real estate, we got to start with the end in mind. We got to know how much is this thing going to sell for? How much are we going to need to get this thing done? So before we come to fund it, let's talk about those numbers a little bit. In all real estate transactions, especially on a fix and flip, a short term, you got to start with your ARV. Whoops, let's see. If I do that, my head's going to be right in the way. You got to start with your after repair value. You got to know how much are you going to sell this house for. So we did some quick analysis and found that $300,000 is what this thing was going to sell for. Then you've got to take out your rehab. You've got to take out your costs. Okay, now I'm going to put closing costs. I'm going to put money costs, things like this, taxes, insurance, etc. And then one of the biggest things that people forget is profit. How much do you want to make on the deal? Folks, this is not a community service project. This is a for-profit business. And then you get down to your purchase price. So let's talk about this for a second. Darren, as we're walking through the house, you showed us kind of what needs to be done. You're doing flooring, obviously. You're doing paint. You're doing countertops. You're fixing up the property, right? How much, Darren, is it going to cost to renovate this house to the level of the comps in the surrounding area?
We're expecting about $40,000.
Okay, so $40,000. And then how much are your closing costs? Because how we funded this is it's a combination of hard money and private money. Okay,
Yes.
How much is your cost? What kind of costs are you expecting through the course of the transaction?
Combined closing costs, money costs, we're expecting about $25,000.
So about $25,000 here. So you're about $65,000 between rehab and everything else. Okay. So then the profit. This is the big question. Now, this is the amazing thing about Darren Davis, the man you're looking at in the screen right now. I call him the prophet. Where Darren is so valuable is he has analyzed thousands, tens of thousands of properties, and he can predict profitability. Okay, he's been able to go in there and he's done so many deals. We follow market trends. He calculates all his expenses and says, based on this, this is how much we're set to make. Well, Darren, what did you predict your profitability is going to be on this? What's the profit potential on this house?
The profit potential on this house is about $65,000.
$65,000. Folks, do the math and you find that the purchase price, how much should we pick this house up for?
$170,000. Yeah.
$170,000 purchase price on a resale of $300,000.
Yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, how many of you, again, let me get in your face a little bit. How many of you can answer the two questions? Do you believe there's a system out there that can show you how to find a house? Yes or no? Do you believe that there's resources available to you, just like to us, to fund deals, whether hard money or private money? You may not know how to do it yet, but do you believe it's out there for you? Yes. Yes is what I'm getting across the board. Okay, now, do you believe then that you can hire the appropriate contractors to do the deal? Yes, and yes. So let me ask you, what is holding you back from going out and getting this type of a profit potential? Guys, my chat is blowing up. I realize, some of it I see is going to attendees, but most of it's just coming to me. I should show you with camera. It's yes, all the way down the board. Can I do it? Yes. Is it worth it? Yes. So what the heck is stopping us from doing this? Most people don't know how to do it. They don't know how. They don't have the time. They don't have the money or credit. And the biggest one is fear. So as we overcome fear, right? The way we overcome fear is through education. Let's go back to Darren and Joanna here. Let's continue the conversation. So we funded this transaction through hard money as well as private funding. Okay. So how much? So we're all in about what, 235,000 all in?
Yes.
235 grand with a resale of 300,000. Then the fix and flip strategy. Darren, it's not your first rodeo. Share with me your story a little bit. And actually, I'm going to go to Joanna first. Joanna, this kind of is your first rodeo. Tell me,
yes.
How did this come to be? How did this partnership come to be? Because you're educated, you're following the system, but you've still got this uncertainty of fear going, yeah, but I've never done this. Why did you reach out to Darren to help you on this transaction?
Well, that's why we joined this community and bought this education, because we realized this is a bigger package than what's presented, really. And what turned the scales into our directions, I guess, was that the community, the access to these people, actually being on these property tours, seeing that these people are real. They're not just, promoting something, and then when you actually need to talk to somebody, they say, deposit another 5,000 and, you'll get a coaching for a couple hours. And and because I've done that about a decade ago. So I was very, very reluctant to join. So we went, seen few property tours, went to few events, to confirm that this is real, this is true, this is not just for show at one time. And so it was huge for us. It was huge to be able to just pick up the phone and call or text and have a response within, minutes, and be able to talk to somebody who's done hundreds of these deals and have them on our side and holding our hand through this. And, just the fear that was there at the beginning, this kind of like, all of a sudden it's gone. It's gone, because it's like, we're working with professionals, we're working with experienced people, everything has a system, everything goes.
Somebody that's not their first rodeo. They've been there, done that. You're leveraging the expertise of other individuals. That's what I'm hearing.
Right.
So that helps to eliminate the fear. Now, so thank you, Joanna. That's freaking amazing, because you found the deal. You found the deal in a matter of just a few minutes, a few hours. Right. You were able to verify, yes, this is a good deal. Darren says, put an offer in, 7-day inspection, 14-day close. You wouldn't have done that on your own. Right?
No, it was actually interesting, because I got a call, I think was Friday afternoon. I talked to Darren analyzed. We put the offer on Saturday, and she didn't even send the offer to the sellers till we came on Monday to see the house, because of her previous experience. She didn't even want to send the offer in until she knew we okay with it. Yeah. So we said, yeah, let's do it. So she opened the escrow Monday on the 6th. We closed on the 21st.
Oh, so awesome. And now it's progressing. Things are moving forward. This whole thing is going to take, how many weeks you project this is the entirety, Darren? All the rehab, everything. How long are you going to be on site?
Well, the rehab's going to take us about 4 weeks, because we have all this landscape to do. But the whole process, we'll be in and out of here in less than 120 days.
How are you confident of that?
Well, you do something once and you might think it might be an anomaly, but you do it 100 times and the confidence starts to appear, for sure.
And the big question was, because of COVID, are you really going to be able to sell it? Well, we actually had people coming and looking and asking already about it.
Yeah. We've already got interest on the property before it's even done.
Yes.
Yes.
It's amazing how that works. You know, let me go back here for a moment. I've got people in the chat. They're saying, hey, I got a question for you. What about this expense? What about this expense? What about this expense? Folks, I understand what we're going over right here. It's very high level. People are like, there's more cost than that. Yes, there are. Believe me, you look into Darren's spreadsheet, this thing is a mile long. There's
Yes.
so much information. So, Darren, do you account for buying fees? Do you account for selling fees, taxes, real estate commissions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
I account for the stamps that are needed to mail in the utility bills, just so you know.
Literally. Folks, he's not kidding. He's not kidding. There's a column on his spreadsheet for postage.
Yes.
Yep.
It's insane. So while these numbers are very high level, today is not the intention to try to get into all the detail. Today's intention is to say there's a system in place to teach you the detail. Well, let's move forward onto this because we're going to wrap up quickly today. We're not going to keep you guys here too long this morning. I told you that my intention is to sell you on this idea. Not even the idea. You're here because you already believe in the idea, but to sell you on the fact that you don't know what you don't know. Years ago when we started this business, we didn't know real estate investing. There's a system that you can follow. And our invitation today is to say, hey, look, come and learn the system. Come and learn what we do. Come and figure out how we do this. How do we gain access to lifetime education? An educational system that when I bought into it, there was only about 24 classes. Now there's over 70. Over 70 different classes from instructors that they rock it. They understand this business and are crushing it. We're not just learning from somebody who just started a boot camp or a seminar company. So Darren, as we wrap up, I mean, you've got a $65,000 potential on this deal. Share with me your story. How did you get started into this business?
Well, you know, it really was something I've always wanted to do. Working on let's say my father's property, we were always doing something fancy and doing a little bit of upgrading and whatever. Always something I wanted to do, but I was too comfortable in the box I was in. I had a job. I was working as a paint pump mechanic in the paint manufacturing industry, and I was comfortable. They paid me all right, and I worked enough that I wouldn't get fired. And so it was good until the last depression we had in 2008. They had to let me go. And so they did. And I needed somewhere to go and something to do. So I had tried my hand at real estate investing, really, I could say tried at it, but it was too scary. So I didn't want to do it. But now I had some motivation behind me because I needed something to bring in income. Luckily for me, I found a team that could help me learn how to do this. I found an education system that would teach me how to do it. And then students of the same education that have done what I wanted to do. That was so important to me. They were able to kind of take me by the arm and say, hey, this is what you do. This is how it works. This is what, these are the things you want to concentrate on. And these are the things you want to look at. Until I, ended up doing my first project and then my second, and then there was no stopping after that. And it's been a couple hundred projects in a few years since then. And it's been phenomenal. Kendall mentioned that I had purchased the full package, the full educational service. The reason why is because I wanted to give myself the best options of success, the best chance of success. Because without the support, that fear doesn't go away. And it has stopped me in my tracks at times. And so I would highly encourage people, if they really want to do something like this, that they should surround themselves with people who are doing it to alleviate that fear. Get the education that will minimize that fear.
I want to throw it in that, what's really also made very special for me is that the education wasn't just the basic things about doing real estate, but how to be smart about your money, how to properly structure business entities, and how to protect yourself, how to do it so you not only make money but you keep the money. Oh. And just there's so much more, and the privilege that you can kind of watch when you can do it, when at your pleasure and time, and it just really made it worth it.
Man, I tell you what, folks, thank you so much, Joanna. Thank you, Darren. There are so many things we could go over today. There's power. There's so much power in education, in taking what you know and going out and applying it. I introduced you guys with 2 questions. Can I do it? Is it worth it? I want you to answer a question for yourself now on this deal. Now, of course, you guys have got profit splits. None of you are just making the full $65,000 on your own. There's going to be some splitting of profit here. However, even if it's 50-50, let's just do simple math for our viewers. 50-50, you each walk away with over $30,000. Those of you at home, how many transactions would you have to do like that before you could better your life, better your situation, gain control of your finances, whatever your goal is? How many of those would you have to do? Hit me up in the chat. Based on the number of what you told me, how much you need to make, how much you want to make on a deal, how many of those would you have to do a year before you could completely be in control? The common answer I'm seeing right now is 3. People are saying 3, 2, 4, 2 rentals. Awesome. Can I do it? Is it worth it? That's our intention. My intention today is to be very transparent. We're going to introduce you to a program on Wednesday night, the system that taught us how to do this. In the chat, you're going to see the link. Today, we start the conversation. We continue this conversation Wednesday night at 7 o'clock Pacific time. 7 o'clock Pacific, we're going to jump into the education. We're going to show you how this system works, how you can get started, the different levels that you can participate in. I already told you that it's anywhere from $2,000 to $20,000 if you pay cash. If you have to finance it with in-house, which you can do, it's 100% okay. It jumps to $2,500 up to $25,000. Whoops, not $250,000. That's a lot. $2,500 to $25,000 if you have to use in-house financing. If not, we did, which we're going to show you multiple ways that you can get funding. It's anywhere from 2 to 20 lifetime access. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't afford not to do this. Take a look at what's going on in the world today, right? If you're looking for a way to better your opportunity, there's never been a better time to jump into real estate than now. There's going to be a disruption. My intention is to help you be part of the solution, not part of the problem. So I look forward to having you join us Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. Darren and Joanna, thank you so much for being with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to you for being here. I look forward to seeing you Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. Until then, folks, enjoy your weekend. Have a great day. See you now.